Happy Wednesday, traders. It's Julian here doing a market recap on spot. This was something that was traded today and a pretty decent play. Off the top, going to be completely honest with you. I don't know what's driving the move lower today. I'm going to assume earnings. I'm going to assume it's some sort of bad news. But I don't know what's running this stock lower. I'm not one to follow news. I don't trade in and around news generally. I just look at price action. The theory is here is that if something is dumping, there is clearly some bad news. So whether I know that or not is completely irrelevant because I feel that price action is going to do what it's going to do. My job as a trader is just simply to react. And I was watching spot pre-market, and it was not looking very good for the longs on this. And I started to look at some levels that were interesting, namely this level right through here, and secondary level down through here at a little bit of a lower level. Now, what you're going to see through here is that pre-market, this thing dumped, and it bounced right off of this 264.79 level. Perfect. No big deal. The idea is when the market closes, that bearishness is probably going to continue, and then it's going to struggle with 260. It's either going to take 260 and bounce, or it's going to crack 260 and it's going to sell hard, and we're just going to have to stay tuned to see what happens. So now the bell rings, market's open. I'm going to get myself down to a 2-minute chart here. And what we're looking for is we're looking for bounces off of those key levels, which is what we saw pre-market. And then when the actual market itself opened right through here, you can see that we came through and took out 264.79. This is where I started to look at puts. And the puts on this were weeklies, meaning that they're going to expire on Friday. And I got in the money 270 puts. They were not the cheapest things on planet Earth. I think 990 is what they were going for. Spreads were a little on the wider side, but the idea was if this thing rips, spreads aren't going to matter. This thing is going to catch up and do well. And so I got into this thing, and you can see right through here it consolidated, and it ended up bouncing off of this level right through here. Now, I'm not too concerned about this bounce right through here. This is a short-term relief rally. It is something that was causing me a little bit of pain, but to be completely honest, I had a risk threshold of about 272. So if price action came against me and printed 272.15, I was just going to get out, and I was just going to take that one on the chin if that was to have happened. Now, what you're going to see right through here, and I'm just going to condense this chart a little bit, is that spot actually came off a little bit. It bounced off of that key level, no surprise. It got back into this range and held, no surprise. It rallied, pulled back, held this level, and the VWAP still, no surprise. You can see that it's holding. It broke, came back in the range, it's holding. But the thing you have to remember is, although this is moving up, it's not taking out what I perceive to be a short-term key level, which could trigger a potential reversal. Also, all of the lead-in news to this today and the price action pre-market was all very bearish. And if you actually go back and look even a little bit further, you'll see that this thing had double topped up and through this level. And so there's just a bunch of bearishness here that was just dying to play itself out. And so I held through this. And again, it was painful because this is going against me at this point in time. But what I'm looking at now is this nice little head and shoulders pattern. Very, very simple pattern. I just simply made a note of it. And I actually talked about this in chat today. And I was saying when this head and shoulders pattern cracks to the downside, we're going to see this thing move. And what it has to do is it's got to take out that pattern. It's got to take the VWAP out. It's got to take 264 out. These are not big requests considering that the market at this point was selling off considerably. Now what you're going to see right through here is that it takes the VWAP out, it takes 264 out, and it drops right back into this little pocket at 260.92. It consolidates for a little bit, it breaks below, retests, and then it really starts to ramp up to the downside. And it's all about making, breaking, and retesting those key levels. What do I mean? It sets a key level, breaks down, holds that key level, snaps below another key level, and it's just about taking out key levels. Can't stress this enough. What does it do? Breaks down, retests, double top. That's a relatively bearish sign, and then this thing just continues to sell off into the close. I did get out of this about 5 to 10 minutes before the bell rang. It was a pure intraday play. The strategy says, based on it being intraday, I'm in after the opening bell and I'm out just before the closing bell. There is no negotiating that. That is a rule. It's an intraday play. If I was to have held it overnight, it then becomes a swing trade. That was not the strategy. So although the thing could gap down tomorrow and absolutely dump, which I doubt it will, being down 12%, you might get a little bit of selling into the open and then a rally after that. It just wasn't my thing to take this into the close. It was an intraday play, followed the strategy, followed the approach, followed the pattern recognition. It all worked out here. And this was a really nice play. This thing ended up getting sold at about $13.90, copped about 4 points on this particular play.